Should be able to run it from here. Yes. I'll pause it really quick. There we go.
Little League isn't just baseball. It's a way of life in Louisa. Everybody goes to Little League at some, whether that be a T-ball, minor leagues, or the major division of that.
I've just been so blessed by this experience. I've got so many people that I would never know if I hadn't been to Little League. I've become friends with so many people because of the contact I had with them and their children. And it's just been, I really been blessed by the experience. I know that when I was really busy at work, or even now when I'm busy at work, and I got something bothering me, when I hit this field, it's all behind me. I'll just concentrate on what's going on in this field.
Historically, I like to say David Purcell is historical. The impact of Louisville League. It's very well known. He man's donated over 50 years of his life to the league. Historically, it's being a small rural community. Everybody, well, I say everybody, a great percentage of the people that volunteer their time and efforts today play with it. So it's always they come right back where they came.
The most important thing I try to teach these players is that baseball is a game very much like baseball, and I try to teach them to learn things from their playing experience that will help them as they go through life. And my team usually always has prayer before the game, and the Lord's Prayer before the game and the prayer after the game. And I want to try to guide kids in that direction.
He taught me that baseball is a sport where you can show more than just how much of an athlete you are. It shows how you can compose yourself through adversity and teaches you how to show yourself on the field and off.
You face adversity on a little field. Not everything will go your way. You're going to make mistakes. And same thing will happen in life. You're going to have great days on Little League field, and you're going to have great days in life, but they're not going to all be that way. I think it helps you learn how to deal with the challenges that you're going to face. And it's not all about winning and losing. You're going to learn teamwork, how to get along with your fellow ball players. And what we see going on in this country now, a lot of people can't get along with one another. And I think that's a lesson that we all need to learn. We all need to be able to get along with one another.
I think Little League does a good job teaching players the game itself. Does a good job teaching the kids how to properly field ground balls, become a better ball player. Just their fundamentals are very strong at the league. We do a really good job here with that.
It showed me that I have people who I can be around and have that bond with for the rest of my life, and I still have friendships with some of these guys I'm still playing with in my high school career, and it's taught me how the game should be played properly.
I think it teaches a lot. It teaches fairness. It teaches honesty. Just overall, your character as a person, integrity, all those things, trustworthiness. You have to be able to trust your teammates that they're going to do what they're supposed to do. Again, so all those different things come in the game of baseball, in most sports, but specifically Little League baseball.
I believe Louisa Little League really brings the community together because it gives a focal point for something that not just one person could find and enjoy. It brings everyone together and shows them something they can get behind.
For the community as a whole, it's a good opportunity to bring families together, bring the community together. We average about 300 children annually in the program, so we break that up here about obviously 600 parents, 600 grandparents, and huge involvement with them.
Well, I think it helps the community by number one, it gives kids something to do. It's a positive thing to be part of. That teaches just the overall sense of community. If you've ever been to an opening day at Little League, you understand that it takes a lot to make it happen. And then go beyond that. You know, every game takes people beyond just those that are on the teams to make things happen.
I think it has quite an impact on the community. We've been in existence since 1966. We started out with Gordonsville Little League. Then we branched off to Louisville League. And I think you see all-star games played here, and over the years, the crowds that we have here, I think it has a big impact on the community.
I think Little League's influence in the last few years I've been able to go to the Little League World Series. To see that teams come together, play each other, when it's all over, you know, you shake hands, you have a great time. It's about, again, building relationships and learning how to communicate, collaborate, all those things that we're learning about now in school.
I think it has a very large impact on the community in the sense that, you know, it teaches kids a lot of positive values, teaches them how to be a good teammate, and just really does a good job turning the kids into great young men.
I know, you know, a lot of parents say it, and I know I can't really speak on it much because I'm still a kid myself, but if I could go back to the days, it'd be my Little League days. I very much enjoyed them, so definitely cherish the moment.
If you have been to a Little League game or you've played in a Little League game, whether that be baseball or softball, would you please raise your hand at this time? As we look around the small crowd and we can see this demographic, I'd like you to imagine that over the county, the state, or even the nation. The Little League program has a huge impact on the community, and if you've been to one of these games, then you've likely seen that impact. I have, as I've been directly impacted as a player and as a pitcher through the Little League program. Welcome. Thank you for coming, judges, friends, and peers and family. My name is ESnyder, and today I'd like to let you guys know a little bit about my senior project on the effects of technology on civil engineering. As a child, I spent most of my time outdoors. And when I was outdoors, I spent that time either playing baseball or working with my parents. And that's influenced me a lot as I've grown up, and it's influenced, one, what I want to study in college, and two, what I centered my senior capstone project around. And for years, I thought that meant that I wanted to be a landscape architect. And if I'd done landscape architecture for my senior project, I'd probably be up here telling you how much I didn't want to be a landscape architect. But recently, through the last year, I've realized that the thing that I really want to study and that I'm actually very passionate about is civil engineering. When I started my senior project, we all thought about our research papers. That was what we first talked about when we went to Best Western. I wanted to focus my senior research project or research paper on something that we all used, the road system. Therefore, my senior thesis was centered around the best road construction material, the best road maintenance process, and the best road resurfacing technique that we have available. The top left image shows a picture of asphalt, which my research showed to be the most cost-effective, maintenance-effective, and eco-friendly option for paving roads. And you may say, now how is asphalt eco-friendly? But that's because a certain type of asphalt called porous asphalt allows water to trickle through instead of run off the side of the road and erode the side of the road, which is a huge problem nowadays. And in fact, runoff leads to my next point, is the maintenance point, is potholes are the biggest problem with roads. And I found the throw and roll method to be the best maintenance technique to repair potholes, which is where you throw a patching material inside of a pothole and you roll over it several times with a truck tire. I found this to be the most effective maintenance process because of its long lasting and its application time benefits if you use the right material. Finally, the top right image showed that for resurfacing, asphalt milling is the best resurfacing process. This is where asphalt is ground off of the top of a road surface, and then it is recycled and used for more areas such as driveways, other roads, or even pathways and walkways. And the reason that this is the best resurfacing method is because it ties into the benefits of asphalt, which resurfacing is another reason that asphalt is environmentally advantageous. Asphalt can be recycled. The main other material that is used to pave roads is concrete. And concrete, once it is used and once you repave a road, must just be tossed in a landfill. It cannot be reused. Asphalt through milling can be. Now, I wanted my senior internship or my senior project to focus on many different areas of civil engineering. That's because I didn't want to get focused on one little topic and miss the entire career, because then I could lose myself later when I get into college and when I get actually into my career. So I did my internship with Dominion Energy in the North End Nuclear Power Station. My goal going into my internship was, one, to learn the role of civil engineers in a nuclear setting, and two, to get hands-on experience to determine whether civil engineering was something that I'd like to pursue as a future career. Communication really helped me secure my internship, and it's how I met my future mentor, Dan Schoenster. Dan Schoenster is the head of the Civil and Mechanical Engineering group at the power station, and he graduated with a bachelor's degree in engineering from UVA. Mr. Schoenster and I originally met through email, but we scheduled a meeting at the North End Nuclear Information Center, also known as the NANIC, where we scheduled my internship. I started right off the bat with hands-on experience at the hydropower dam, where I performed what's known as piezometer tests. And there are two different types, which are both posted up. On the left is an open tube piezometer test. And the role of that test is to measure the depth of groundwater at different spots along the hydropower dam to measure whether too much water is getting through the dam, as it's just an earthen dam. The image on the right shows a closed tube piezometer test, which uses a pressurized box to determine the pressure of groundwater along those spots on the dam as well, which again measures how much water is leaking through the dam. Through my internship, I really learned that that civil engineers in general, and especially in a nuclear setting, need to have a background in many different fields and concepts so that they can solve any issue that's put in front of them. I also learned that civil engineering, and this is going to sound cliche, but it's not only interesting, but when you really get that experience and you get to delve into the details of it, it can really be a fun and I guess that's the way you say it. It actually is a fun topic to pursue and a fun career, and it's definitely something that I'd like to study in college and possibly be my future career. As I previously stated, civil engineers need to have a background in many different fields and concepts. And one of those concepts is communication in a professional setting, the ability to present your ideas, to raise funds, and to complete projects that are set in front of you. I use technology to help me do this, and I reached out to Loudon Building Systems down the road in Louisa County. They were looking for a student with professional and technological capabilities that could create a presentation for the creation of the future William A. Cook Youth Sports Complex. I went and met with Howard Loudon and Tracy Williams, and I was presented with the project of creating a website, a video, a PowerPoint presentation, and raising funds all for this future sports complex. I only had 1 month to do this. So I reached out to Andrew Wolfick, my community service mentor. He is the videographer and photographer for Louisa County Public Schools. He helped me with the main portion of my project, my video. And I had to interview players, coaches, and parents of the Little League to determine the true impact of the Little League on the community so that I could present it to the William A. Cook Foundation to get more funds to build this project. This is the same video that you watched at the beginning. Through my community, sorry about that. The other main part of my community service project was to raise funds. And I set before myself the goal of raising $2,000 in funds for the William A. Cook Youth Sports Complex. I originally started by creating a GoFundMe through the Little League. However, it was not very successful, and I only raised a few $100s. However, I met with Tracy Clark, who is the executive director for the Louisa County Chamber of Commerce, and we discussed possible fundraising ideas, one of which I brought with me today, and I will describe in a couple minutes. It is a puzzle board that allows you to buy puzzle pieces based on the number puzzle piece that it is. So if I wanted to buy puzzle piece 1, I'd pay $1. If I wanted to buy puzzle piece 70, I'd pay $70. And this has been shown to be very effective, especially when you do it during business events, where there are many businesses there that want to get their name posted at the sports complex for donating towards this event. Through these experiences throughout the entire realm of my senior project, I've realized that for me, I've always been very vocal, but actually communicating my ideas in a professional setting has been very difficult for me. So when I'm working with these different people and these different professionals and with my advisor and peers, I have become a much better communicator of what I actually want to achieve and the problems that I'm having. When you have a difficulty, don't try and solve it yourself right off the bat. You've got to realize that more often than not, there is always going to be someone around you who might be going through the same thing who has gone through that before and can help guide you and give you experience and advice through those problems. And that is one of the main things. That's the main impact that I have learned through my senior capstone. From here and with these experiences, I will be going to Hampton-Sydney and studying in a dual degree program through Hampton-Sydney and UVA, which will be a pre-engineering program. I will spend 3 years at Hampton-Sydney, followed by 2 more at UVA, and I will graduate with a bachelor's in science from Hampton-Sydney and a master's in engineering and applied science from UVA. After graduation, I plan to acquire an engineering job at a small firm that puts an emphasis on personal connection and quality work over mass work and mass profit. Sorry. At this point, I would like to thank Mrs. King, my advisor, for all of the support and advice that she's given me through this project. To my peers and my family for all of the support as well and the guidance through when I'm having trouble and when I'm doing things well, and they help keep me focused on what I need to get done most. Are there any questions at this time? Yes, Tyler. Absolutely. You can come up here. So what happens here is he will give me the money. How much money do you have?
That's like $4.
So you would like puzzle piece number 4. So I have over here, I have a bag that has labeled with number 4, and he gets this puzzle piece right here, and he will get to find it. And the fun interactive part of this is that the numbers are jumbled, so they don't just go straight in order. So you'll take this, and here's a piece of double-sided tape, and you get to find where that goes. There you go. You get to put that up there and determine where that goes. And the reason that I keep this bag is because people like to see their name where they go, and it shows their connection to the sports complex, especially because this is what my project is. That is great. You can have a seat at this time. So I'm going to write Tyler's name down on this, and I'm going to put it in my donations bag. And when I'm finally done with this puzzle board, because that puzzle board is an actual donation board, I am going to create a plaque that will have everybody's name donated with what piece they bought, and it will be posted beneath this puzzle board, which will be placed at the future William A. Cook Youth Sports Complex. From there, whenever people go and they look at this, they'll be able to see who had an impact on it and who helped fund this. So this helps people who may not be able to put up $1,000 donations or a couple $100 donations, and this allows them to make an impact on that sports complex as well. Yes, Taylor. Yes. This will be added on. Since I did not meet my goal and I only raised, I think, $380. As a GoFundMe is a good thing for online, but often it requires a large group knowing about it. And even though I extended my project through social media and through the school, it's often hard to get that out as a student to everybody. So I thought this would be a great way where I can meet people in person and communicate with them and describe what my community service project was about so that I can better raise funds to support this sports complex. Yes?
Approximately how much money will that raise?
This board, 1 through 100, will raise a little over $5,000 when completely sold. Yes, ma'am, I noticed you had your hand up as well. I plan to, because what I hope is that I can go to a business event and a couple of the future Little League games and other community events through Parks and Rec and sell this and then, finish this, post it, and then make another one. And I have many images, some of which you saw up there, show players from the Little League, and I hope to make a puzzle or a couple puzzles out of those as well. And that means that I will be able to exceed my goal. And I don't want to just stop when I raise my goal. I want to be able to continue, because the Little League is something that has meant so much to me as I've grown up.
Back to the research.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie, you started talking about
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Did you go into that research
Yes.
thinking that you were going to find something else?
To be honest, when I went in, I saw that most roads are paved with asphalt, but when I went in, I actually thought that concrete would be better. But I didn't go in looking for those two. When I went in, I went looking for new ideas However, because the road system is something that's constantly changing and because we're just making breakthroughs with it, there were virtually no sources out yet about those different types of roads. And you get to asphalt and concrete. And while we use asphalt much, like I just said, I thought that concrete was going to be better because, I mean, concrete's a little bit more rigid. It doesn't heat up as often on a road surface. And often you see it more through cities where there's heavier traffic. So I thought that that would be better. But it turns out that asphalt is much more durable because the heating up in extreme heat actually allows it to sort of repair some of the cracks that occur to it over time, as well as the fact that when you're trying to pave a whole road, asphalt can be millions of dollars cheaper and still last just as long. And there are several different application methods where you can apply it using a hot mix or a colder mix of asphalt, and that will change where you want to use it on. If you want to use it on a heavier traffic road, you'd normally use a hotter mix that would dry harder, or if you want to use a colder mix somewhere that's not going to get as much traffic. Yes. Let's say our road, Buckner Road, it's a road that's not, it's pretty well used, but compared to highways such as 33 and city roads, it's a true country bumpkin back road. It doesn't get used as much, so that would be a way, or that would be a place where you would usually use a colder mix, just because you're not heating up the asphalt as much when you pave it, so it's not going to dry as hard, but it still can work for 20 or more, 20, 30 years, as long as you make sure to repair it when problems occur. Yes, ma'am. So I have not been told a lot about that, but I know that it was delayed due for some of their problems when they were designing it, as well as they need close to $1.8 million to create it. Right now they have lots of donations, such as Dominion Energy has donated or is looking to donate to it. I know there are companies, mortar companies that have donated lots of bricks. So right now it's just getting the funding and getting the materials that they need, and then they will start construction of it. They plan to start this year. Yes, ma'am. I did not find anything about that. Normally when you hear about asphalt, you have to call the paving companies, and each paving company has different rates because it depends on how much you're paving, where you're paving it. Often the environmental conditions can cause different effects as well for how much you're going to pay. So I didn't find that directly in my research. Absolutely. This is an open donation just after the final group presents theirs. Thank you.